Welcome back, guys. It's another episode of Strong Female Lead. I am one of your co-hosts, Tessa.
And I'm Tricia.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. I feel like it's been so long. It hasn't.
I know.
It's been like a week.
It's been like a week. Strong Female Lead, we take a look at the portrayal of women in media, and we discuss whether or not Hollywood got it fucking right, whether they got it right, people, whether they're doing what we want them to do. That's
exactly.
It. Tessa told me to put a spin on it. A little spin on it.
I like that. Yeah, but that's pretty much what we talk about. And this week we're talking about a very cool movie. I think we've got like an unofficial book to movie theme going on in September. Yeah, it's September still. This week's movie is Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Which is just a cute movie. I love the book, and I saw that this movie was available on Hulu, and I was like, yes, we should do it. It's a good time. It's an easy watch. It's kind of long, but I really enjoyed it. What were your first impressions? What did you think of it, Tricia?
I liked it. I love Cate Blanchett, and there were a lot of names in this movie. Just constantly another face that I knew, and I didn't even know all of their names, but I knew them, and namely Kristen Wiig, who is the shit.
Yeah.
In everything she does. But obviously Cate Blanchett. I mean, my God. And yeah, it was good. It was easy. It was fun. No one had any consequences. It was just easy to watch. I actually cried at the end. I know, but a good cry. A good cry. Like she's an artist and she needs to create, or else she's a menace, and just the acceptance of that. I'm like, I need some of that in my life.
100%. I was like, am I Bernadette? Am I also lost? I feel lost. I think 2020's left us all kind of feeling like, if your hobby or creative outlet was in any way public facing and you can't do that anymore, I think we're all in the same boat. Like, I remember when I created things and was on a stage and performed sometimes, and sometimes people even laughed, and that was nice.
I know. And I love the utter acceptance for who she was, and just that if she wasn't doing what she loved, then she was just going to be kind of like difficult to contain. And I'm like, I need that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the thing is that I need to be doing. It could be just watching movies. Maybe I just need to be allowed to watch movies.
Yeah, I just need a project. Like, I will make a project out of anything. I'm trying to line up some stuff for the winter months when you can't go out and like readily get like all my little crafting supplies. But yeah, I constantly have to keep myself entertained. Otherwise, the sadness seeps in. And I'm like, oh. So
sadness seeps in.
The sadness seeps in. I was like, I think this winter I'm gonna take up candle making, maybe some floral design, dark winter florals, just get into it. Cocktails, my renewed interest in the Zodiac.
I'm not positive the time I was born. I keep thinking it was 4 a.m. or 6 a.m., but apparently that does make a difference in some of these Zodiac things. Mm-hmm. So in something else, I don't know, in a weird app or something, I found out I was a Leo rising, and that just changes everything.
Yeah.
I thought I was an Aquarius at one point, then I thought maybe there was a Pisces, and so I'm lost. much like Bernadette.
It's like yeah, the rising sign does make a huge difference in like how you would present. So yeah, and especially from Leo to Aquarius, like that's whoa.
It's very, very different.
Yeah.
I think I liked Aquarius better, but I'm cool either way.
Yeah, I think Leo's a fun sign. I think Aquarius is a fun sign. The iconoclast versus like, kind of the showman of a Leo. Like, those are both good signs. Those are great rising signs. I don't think there's a bad rise. I don't think there are bad signs. But I digress. There are Geminis out there.
And we both have people that we love who are Geminis, and they're also people that we fear.
Well, yeah. Geminis. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Okay. Get out of here. Okay.
Exactly. I love Geminis. Once they get it together, they're some of the best people. But, that like early 20s phase when you're interacting with Geminis and you're just like, what? Huh?
I know. For people who were like, if I'm not creating something, I'm a menace to society. If Geminis aren't, and fill in the blank, because I don't know what it is, they're a menace to everyone around them.
Yes.
And I don't know what it is, though, but there's something, and if it's there, they're the best people to be around.
Yeah.
Like, they're so fun and engaging, and you never know what you're going to get, but in a good way. But if whatever that thing is not there, it's unclear.
Yes, they're so fun because they're like down for anything. They can convince you to do anything, and it takes almost nothing to convince them to do anything, which is such a fun, like, personality trait to have. But it also could get you in a lot of trouble. You can see how that would get you in a lot of trouble. If you could be so, like, easily convinced, not easily, like, dangle any shiny object, but it doesn't take much more than a shiny object. If it seems like fun, you could probably get a Gemini to do it. Which is, again, so fun. They're like the essence of summer is a Gemini to me. Like, down for anything. The sun's always out for them. There's always another, like, option, another party, a weird solution. So I give Geminis a lot of shit, but they are fun people. But they're the funnest to shit on also.
Yeah, they are, because they're serial killers. Okay, so now where'd you go, Bernadette?
Where'd you go, Bernadette? So just so everyone has a little synopsis, I'll give you a little run through of the plot. So former architect Bernadette Fox seems to have it all: a beautiful home in Seattle, a successful and loving husband, and a brilliant teenage daughter who's about to attend boarding school, when Bernadette suddenly disappears without a trace. Her concerned family sets off an exciting adventure to solve the mystery of where she might have gone. So that's kind of the overview plot synopsis of what's going on and Where'd You Go, Bernadette, which is just so goddamn cute. I really like this movie. I think it was probably last season, but I think I was talking, it may have just been in conversation with someone else. You guys, I think I'm talking to you always, and so there's that.
We are there always.
Yeah. But I wanted to find more movies about, like, kind of moms who fuck up or seem to have been to fuck up, and how they rectify that situation and how Hollywood treats them. And so in this movie you get Bernadette Fox, and then you also get Kristen Wiig's character, I think her name is Andrea in the movie? Audrey in the movie. And so it's two very parallel mom experiences in my eyes. Kind of, you've got the more type A, head of the PTA, as long as, appearances mean everything type. I'm going to go ahead and say Capricorn energy coming from Audrey. Just like, if it looks good, it is good type thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. Capricorn has been a little bit of my obsession lately. I feel like I don't know a lot of them. And then I went through, like, my Facebook birthdays, and I was like, just kidding. Like, everyone I know
All of them?
is a cat. A lot. I was like, wow, a lot of you guys. There's a lot of you guys. Interesting. You just hiding. You just hate the Zodiac. Maybe that's it. They all do kind of hate the Zodiac. Maybe that's why. I think they are not here. But yeah, that kind of type A, perfectionist, kind of almost, she is overly concerned with what's happening in Bernadette's literal yard, and not as concerned of what's going on in her own yard, meaning her own kids and her own marriage and her own home. It's so easy to point the finger at somebody like Bernadette, who's obviously not as put together. Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't have her driving passion anymore, which is her art. And so, yeah, she's a little bit unraveled, but I loved their house, Bernadette's house.
Oh,
I would
my
take
God.
that house any day. So beautiful. The
It was
few rooms we got to see,
awesome.
I was like, what? This is a dream.
It was awesome looking. And then, it was definitely falling apart. And obviously, what's that noise? You ever hear that ding? Oh, okay.
It's an email.
Ding. Oh, yeah. It's obviously falling apart and a bit dilapidated in areas, but it had a bit of a Grey Gardens feel, especially when she was, the ivies growing like inside of the home. But oh my God, the ceilings and the paint, it reminded me of just a very old, like, mansion.
Yeah.
It was just
likely haunted. But the wallpaper, even in the areas where it was peeling, it looked intentional and it looked perfect. And I was like, I wouldn't even change that. It was so gorgeous. Ugh.
I know. It was stunning. And then when we learned later, about how she constructed it and all of the eyeglasses. Oh my God. I was like, that's beautiful.
It really is. Oh my gosh. The interior design that she's doing, because she was, at one point in the movie, she says she's not really an architect. She's like a creative problem solver. And I was like, no, you're an interior designer, architect, design build extraordinaire. Like
just a genius.
Yeah. And so you've got Bernadette, who's kind of I'm going to call her the quirky mom, who's like, kid B is like her best friend and is a good mom, but like outwardly you'd look at her and just be like, there's no way she has it together. But she has love. Right. And her kid
she has
so
love.
healthy.
And B loves her. B loves her. And B moms her a little, which, can have its own repercussions, but there are none in this movie because B just is like, whatever, mom disappears and we just have to find her. We love her. It doesn't matter. I love that. Like, I'm like, oh, you're not even mad at all.
Right? And I was like, they've not said that she's done this before while B's been alive. So I was concerned on how they came to that plan so quickly. But then again, it must be great to be like a multi-millionaire who could just plan a trip to Antarctica on a whim.
Very quickly. and then go. And then the kid's like, well, we have to go now too. So I guess money does buy you options. I did realize that this was definitely not going to be a dark movie. At first I thought it might be because there was a disappearance. But then it said, the family launches on an adventure to solve the mystery of the disappearance. And I was like, oh, it's more like Nancy Drew.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, this does have a very like Nancy Drew vibe to it. I'll take that.
I was like, oh, it's that kind of disappearance. Okay, I understand. Everyone's alive and well at the
end. Yeah.
I already knew based on the synopsis.
That would be crazy. I mean, I feel like this could have taken a very dark turn. In the B side, in the B movie that is Where'd You Go, Bernadette, it'd be very easy to take this to a dark place.
Very much so. She goes to Antarctica, or where'd you go, Bernadette? And then we realize that she just became Anna Wintour because she looks exactly like her.
Really did. Yeah, the glasses and that like very blunt bob with bangs. I was like. I mean, and she looks super chic, and I was like, is there a look that Cate Blanchett couldn't pull off? Is there anything that she can't do at this moment, or in life? Like,
there isn't, and I don't understand her aging process. She is, I don't know if it's makeup. There's no way this woman does not have any wrinkles. I mean, I don't know her age, but it just seems impossible. She's probably in her 50s?
Yeah, I was going to say, late 40s, 50s. Has to be.
Just maybe because she's been around so long, it seems like that. But she is, and always has been, totally stunning. and she never looks young or old. She just looks like her. And I just don't, it's unclear. And if she's getting work done, she is doing it the right way. I don't know how it is, like, but if she's not, then she's just been blessed by.
Yeah, well then give me your J-Lo secrets about not aging. Like whatever she's doing.
J-Lo is another one who's just, it's just so, they're just so beautiful, and they don't, it's not like they look 20. They look within a decade or so of what you imagine their age might be, but they're just like ageless in the sense that, like, I have no idea how old they are, and it doesn't matter. They're so stunning, and I don't know what's happening. I just don't get it.
No, 100%. I also think, like, I like these movies that feature older actresses as the lead actress, because I do feel like you, like, kind of meet an actor in their early 20s when they're the love interest, and then they get to be an early mom, and then they, like, disappear, and they come back, like, Jane Fonda's age. And I'm like, I think I just don't have a great point of reference for what a naturally aging woman looks like, because I've really only seen it in my own life, like through like my family. But when I was a kid, my mom was like in her 30s, and so she looked like herself until like recently, when I was like, oh my god, you have aged. But it's only because I've aged.
Right.
I always think that's weird.
I know. And you know, I also feel like I'm adding to the problem by talking about this, because we don't talk about men typically the same way. We do talk about how they've aged, but not in the sense that we talk about women. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't matter. Obviously they age, and even if she didn't look the way she does, she would be beautiful anyways. And aging is beautiful, but it's still kind of like shocking.
Yeah. But also, but men get to play the same love interest until they become like the old creeper or like old like James Bond. Like they are always like in the eyes of like the female audience, like desirable. Ridiculous.
I know. As long as they can provide security and or money.
Disgusting.
It's all the machismo. I know.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun. I loved the relationship between the mother and daughter. I loved Cate Blanchett, and a woman in her, I would say she's in her 50s. In this movie, she's supposed to be, I would guess. And having her as the protagonist, and also the love interest, but it's really not about their love and her role as a wife and a love interest, which I really appreciated as well. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure it definitely passed the Bechdel test. I mean, it wasn't clear to me always whether the characters were named, but there were a lot of conversations between Audrey and Bernadette, and they had nothing to do with their husbands.
Right.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I think that all of the conversations featuring the Nats were about Bernadette. So I think that they would pass the Bechdel test, which is exciting. I feel like this is like the second, we're on episode 9, and there's only the second movie that's passed the Bechdel test.
Is it? Oh my god, I know. It's terrible. It's terrible, but I do watch it with that lens now, and the husband just wasn't a primary feature. And you and I were talking offline. We both agreed Billy Crudup did not show up.
No.
He did not show up.
It was so confusing. Especially there's a scene in the movie where they're staging an intervention for Bernadette.
Yes.
And he is just like, is he playing to a camera we don't see? Like, what were his directions in the scene? Because, again, Cate Blanchett is showing up. Like, she is invested in the relationship between her and Billy Crudup? How do you say it?
Crudup.
I think Crudup. Billy.
Whatever.
We're on a first name basis now. Me and Billy.
He's just Billy.
Billy.
He's a golden god. He's a golden god, almost famous. That's who he is.
Is that him?
Yeah, that was him. And he was great in that movie. So I'm just like, dude. Anyways.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. That kind of blew my mind. I was like, that's the same guy. But then against the aging, I think I was like, that's the same guy.
Yeah, he's
Whoa.
given a dad vibe, and he's classically handsome.
Yeah, he's an attractive guy. I'll give it to him.
But his direction was to not be that upset. I really think
it was just so confusing. I was like, is he gonna leave Bernadette for his admin? Because Bernadette throughout the movie just keeps bringing it up. She's like, she's gonna turn you against me. You know, eventually you're gonna leave me for her, and blah blah blah. She's getting in your head. And then I thought like maybe his direction was to almost lead her on to believe that he was ending their marital relationship, and not just like strongly suggesting that she commit herself to a psych ward. But I was like, he just didn't seem concerned at all that her options were go to a psych ward or, you know, go into some sort of witness protection in order to avoid the Russians who are now after her after she gets her identity stolen, which seems so plausible that would happen in real life.
Did. But I gotta say, like, that leap in the storyline, maybe it was a little bit better in the book, but I was just like, that is not fleshed out. But it doesn't matter. It was really
unnecessary.
Matter.
It's unnecessary. Yeah. In the book, it serves a better device in the book to kind of as misleading, but in the movie, we're getting to see things unfold kind of very much in a different way. So to me, it just felt unnecessary to bring any of those characters in, especially since
there was no point.
Yeah, and like both of the actors who joined the movie at that point, Judy Greer and James Urbanek, both like very funny comedians, just like here playing dramatic roles for no reason. Or like
I was gonna say, yeah, I love Judy Greer.
Yes,
I mean, in Arrested Development, she is so phenomenal. She's just a great actress, but yeah, I don't know why she needed to be there. That could have been an intervention just with the daughter and the dad or the husband, and they could have just been having a conversation with her, and she leapt out the window. Like there was no point with them.
Yeah,
the one character who kind of came out of nowhere that I really liked was the architect, and he's really famous. Oh my God, what was his name? Was it James Earl Jones?
Oh, it's Morpheus. Oh, it's his real name.
I feel like it's James Earl Jones. He does voiceovers for like everything because no, it's not James Earl Jones.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah. They both have very iconic voices, so you were in the right ballpark, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like I hear both of their voices all the time in certain things. But he served a purpose. But the rest of them that popped in, they just really didn't do much, especially in that scene. And I think it would have been even better without them. And the admin assistant she didn't serve purpose in this movie either.
Especially to not flush that out as like a real option for him. Like it seems like, you know, overall he was very devoted to his marriage and was just very, I don't want to say negligent, but just like unaware of the severity of what was going on with Bernadette. But to put this girl in his path and then not do anything with it was strange to me. But then again, I'm like, I had to go back and look, but I was like, this is PG-13, which I'm like, when was the last time you watched a PG-13 movie?
I didn't even know that it was.
And I was like, that's probably why they avoided like making that a real thing.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because it's like, that doesn't make sense. It seems like there's a lot, that could be a lot there.
But you can have affairs. PG-13 doesn't mean like, you know.
I know that there's a limit to like how much like sexual innuendos, aka adult language you can have, and curse words and all that kind of stuff. But
oh my God, PG-13. Oh my God, yeah. I usually actively avoid PG-13. I didn't even realize.
I never look at ratings. They don't matter anymore. Like once you're like 18, the ratings on movies don't really matter. It's how interesting is it. So yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Well, that's not true. I do watch cartoons a lot. So there's that. Anyway.
It was great. And the whole pill thing, I loved the pharmacy scene. I was like, whoa. The medication that she was prescribed from the Russians was
basically something that was just going to put her down.
Yes.
I mean, but I love it. They're like Haldol, Adderall. I'm like, to help with motion sickness. And I love her response. She's like, sounds great to me. I'm like,
and I was like, I don't know that I would take those odds. They're like, it's a 10% chance that your face is going to stay in that like,
oh, I know,
goofy, tongue out way. And I was like, I think I'll just be seasick and keep my face as it is.
Yeah, and she's supposed to be agoraphobic, right? But she goes into places. I didn't 100%. I feel like maybe that was unnecessary for us to know. She could have just been eclectic and slightly paranoid. I mean, she seemed like, obviously, there's something going on, whether it was mental health issues or just the fact that she wasn't creating. There was something that was going on. She had insomnia, but agoraphobic, I'm like, I read that, I'm like, when?
Exactly. And I think that this is, again, the PG-13 coming in and kind of ruining what we know from, if you've read the book. She is much worse in the book about her agoraphobia. And yeah, it doesn't really make sense for her to be, without like giving her a diagnosis and just saying, you know what she really needed? To work harder. Seems like a bad message to send to kids. But also, just saying that she's depressed wouldn't have killed anyone. She does live in Seattle. Depression is like their number one pastime.
Oh, so you think, you need to work harder or don't give up on your dreams.
Yeah, you know, just how you feel, stuff that down or aside and do your purpose. Be on your purpose.
And the pill thing, I thought at first she was just combining them because it looked cool and she was going to make some sort of art thing out of it. I didn't really know what was happening. And then I'm like, do they not share a bathroom? Has he never looked? Because, I mean, I have to take prescriptions. I guess I keep them in my nightside table because I take them at night, but I'm kind of like, is this the first time you've seen those or known anything like that? Like, dude. I guess he was just supposed to be overworked in his own Samantha 2 business or whatever.
Yeah, which is the creepiest invention ever. I was like, I hope this never comes to market. That is the creepiest thing. No. This is technology gone too far. The answer is no.
It was terrible. I didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit.
No, it's a computer program that pretty much you think something and it like scans your brainwaves and it can interpret brainwaves into text. So if you think of an email that you wanted to send to someone, it would write that in an email and send it on your behalf. That's so scary.
What if you change your mind? And does it just pick the mode that you plan on sending it? Like, I could just be like, send email, and it pulls up my Gmail. Like, what if it's something I'm thinking that I want to say to someone instead? Or maybe I'm just having a thought.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden that thought's an email. You don't even get the chance to retract it. Before we move on, I do need to say, Tessa, I yelled for Alexa to do something like a couple weeks ago during work, and I said Tessa instead. So
is that because we have such amazing voices, the two of us?
I
comfort you.
It really, yes. It really freaked me out. And then also, I just want to throw this question out to the listeners. Do you ever find yourself thinking, Alexa, when you're out in public? Like when you just randomly and just kind of, you want to do something or you're going over a checklist or something and you in your head think, Alexa. I just want to ask if anyone has had that happen to them because it does happen to me. And that scares me.
Oh man, I stopped using my Alexa because she's starting to creep me out. She was just like answering questions that I didn't ask, or at least I didn't think I asked. And yeah, the fact that she's always listening, I was like, I do some weird things in here, which is really like sing karaoke. Well, it's just singing. I guess there's no karaoke attached to it.
No, you're just singing and living your life.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't need anyone piecing together these clip recordings of me belting out Mariah Carey Christmas in the middle of June. Like, it's just unnecessary.
Oh, and the other thing I wanted to make sure to tell you is, guess what episode my mom recently listened to? and then was telling me about bad education. And guess what I talked about in that episode? My grandma's secret faceless.
Oh, wow. What did she say?
And I told the secret about my ex having a child. When I was like in my 20s, I know my mom, she just said, hi. She texted me, hi, I listened to Bad Education, and just something about the podcast, but nothing about that. So then I just called it out because that's definitely like my family to just never say it. And I was like, come on, let's just say it. Like, you heard that. And she's like, yeah. And then we just laughed about my grandma. And then didn't talk about it anymore. And I was like, oh my God, of all the episodes.
That's really funny. Like, I'm glad she she wasn't mad.
No,
so I was like, I can take it out. There's still time. I can take it out before it goes to worldwide.
Right, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because that's what we're looking at here. Worldwide.
SFL World Tour 2021. Well, 2022. Whenever we can get out of the United States.
We're still looking at you guys, Australia.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What do you think about our SFL criteria in this movie?
Well, I definitely think that Cate Blanchett, aka Bernadette, is an SFL. Cate Blanchett is top billed, does the character impact the movie and plot 100%. Everything, every erratic action that Bernadette takes affects the plot. There is no movie without Bernadette and her randomness, which I enjoyed.
Totally,
and
I do too.
Yeah, and does she have agency? 100%. I don't think anyone could take agency from her if they tried, because you never know when it's coming or going, or when she's coming or going.
She will
and I loved that about her.
Whatever.
Whatever
I loved her thinking.
I loved her in the workplace when they showed that flashback sequence of her working for an architect, and doing kind of the grunt work, but also putting her own spin on things and creating that warehouse that commercial space that she turned into her home. I loved it.
I loved it too.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an occasion where maybe she had her agency tested, but then again, it was the should she or should she not go to the institution? And she said no. And then the answer was no, because she's like, I'm out this bitch. She climbed out a window.
I love that. The second, figuratively and literally, the second her agency was at issue, she was out.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, no. And it seemed like a real jump because, yes, there are times where people, for their own health and welfare and the health and welfare of others, do need to be institutionalized.
Mm-hmm.
But they took a real jump. I'm like, how about just try a little couples therapy? Apparently, or, push harder for her doing therapy, or some ultimatum, I need you to take care of yourself. If not, I'm gonna stay here for a couple of weeks, or just anything. I was just like,
it seems
wow,
extreme.
that is a very big jump. Maybe just for the sake of the movie, I'm like, if she's been making it this far, and then all of a sudden you just think there's no hope for any other type of intervention, I'm like, then you waited too long also. So
yeah 100%. I thought that the intervention to me was what happened to her was obviously a mistake. She wasn't intentionally communicating with Russian hackers and doing all of that. She thought she was speaking to it was as legit as you could make something look.
Didn't mean she was crazy.
Exactly. And I was like, she made a mistake. It was a bad mistake. They almost lost everything, but it was very obviously a mistake.
And she took ownership and she apologized right away. She wasn't fighting that kind of thing or saying, oh, whatever, that's not happening, or there was nothing about her that was delusional. She was just manic.
Yeah. And that's another thing I liked about her character is that she, like in the intervention, they kept saying like a phrase that was like come to terms with your reality. Like, let's stay in the reality and what's real. And I was like, it seems like she's very present. She might not be interacting with you in a way that you would like in this moment, but she's not delusional, like you said. She's not, she's not out of sorts. She's just disagreeing.
Yeah, she
and
knows
wanting
that
things to go
she's
her
taking.
way. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
She knows that she was taking pills. She knows that she, put all those pills in a jar and didn't know the difference between them. And yeah, it's not great.
Yeah.
But she knew what was going on. I guess she just didn't know the impact that the hole in her life was making. And so it should have been a creative intervention, an artist's intervention, if you will.
I love it. I love that. Yes, they should have just done, put her on a retreat in a remote island for a little while and say, get it together. And she would have, probably. Well, they did. That's exactly what happened. But it wasn't.
That's what she ended up doing. And it worked.
And it worked.
She went on her own retreat to Antarctica. And she just went, I mean, that's what she needed.
Yeah.
It's a little extreme, but you married an extreme person.
Exactly. This is the exact same person you married. Yeah. You just need, like, invention idea. It's for Lawrence Fishburne and, who was the guy that you named? Both of them.
Oh, James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones need to create a Talkspace-like workshop where they only, like, when they give you the affirmations, and then you'll be able to do it. Like, if they are telling you, then you'd believe it more. Because their voices are so soothing and godlike.
They're so soothing. And frankly, Lawrence Fishburne is the one that gave her the intervention that she needed.
Yeah.
He's the one who just called it like it was and was like, are you done yet? Like, just ranting. And she was ranting and raving. And he's like, okay, so you're not creating anything. And that was it. He had the answers, so they needed to go to him.
Exactly. So that was a free invention. Just, go ahead and credit the podcast one day when this comes to fruition. I can feel it. You can also get, like, Mr. T and Morgan Freeman in there and just, like, other...
Ooh, and also the Allstate guy. The Allstate guy has
the Allstate guy. Ugh. The app should just be called Black Men Speak. And I would download that. If you could get them to say things. Oh.
Black Men Speak, or Black Men read you stories.
I would take that.
Or guided meditations.
Oh, yeah. Put Rick Ross in there, too. I would take a guided meditation from Rick Ross.
Ooh. I like that. So she was definitely an SFL. I mean, top billed, obviously, impacted the plot, and had her own agency. Like, done.
Yeah.
It was delightful. It was delightful. It was a little like, what? But then I just had to suspend reality, and then I started crying at the end when, I don't know, there was some song, and then the combo of that and her just creating, I was just like, they showed the drawings of whatever the Antarctic science place / like spaceship thing that they
it
were
was so
making.
cool looking. And it moved.
It was so
and I was
cool.
like, that's amazing.
So it was so cool. And I was like, yes. And Zach caught me because he was like studying and had his headphones on. He's like, are you crying? And I'm like, it's just so good.
It was just like very heartwarming. I was like, sometimes things just work out, right? That could happen to anybody. Is just like, I get that.
Just work out. All you have to do is just
believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself that everyone just follows you wherever you are, and then they don't tell you that you have to leave, and you just do it. Just do it. It was truly heartwarming.
It was.
Just let her be. Let Bernadette.
Exactly. Let Bernadette. Oh, she wasn't hurting anyone. That should be the name of the episode. Let Bernadette.
I was just going to say that. That should definitely be the episode. Just let Bernadette. She's not hurting anyone.
No.
If you can't be around her while she's Bernadetting, then go away and let her Bernadette. She doesn't need you around while she's Bernadetting. But when she comes back from Bernadetting, she will be more of the person that you love.
Yes. 100%. I want Bernadette. I need to Bernadette. I need to be on an island. Oh, I guess that's quarantine. Never mind.
Let Tessa. Let Tricia. I mean, all of our names should be verbs because they are.
Oh.
And I really liked in the beginning. I thought that it was sweet, and I didn't bother to look it up, but I did like what they said about just in the narration. The daughter was saying something about when we first see something, it makes us feel a certain way, and then, we no longer feel that way because it kind of dampens the emotional experience or connection to something dampens because then we have to be on alert. And I didn't look into the science of that, but I wouldn't be shocked because everything loses its shine. Right?
Yeah.
Like when you buy something new, then it's no longer new. And we all go through that. It's just like what we do.
It can only be like a novelty for a while. It has to at some point become regular. Which is sad. It's kind of, maybe that's how art dies.
That's how life dies. It's everything. It's so sad. This movie's heartwarming and sad. So you just have to, the message is, everyone, you just have to reignite the shine.
Yes.
The shine, reignite the shine. And then they found each other again. I mean, we didn't go much into their love story, but I'm guessing in the book also they probably stayed together. The husband and wife. And so you just kind of have to do your own thing and get your own thing out and Bernadette and crude up, whatever that was. And then just kind of everything is good. It was good.
It was. I like the like subtle message about self-care and like, you're going to like, life is going to continue to happen, but like you are in charge of making yourself happy. And you are in charge of making yourself interesting. I thought that was my favorite thing that
making your life
said about.
Interesting.
Yeah, she's like, you're bored, then you're the only one who can make it not bored or boring or whatever. And I was like, yay.
Because it does. It just gets more boring. It really does.
That's why I started making candles. Well, I will as soon as the kid gets here. I thought about doing perfume, but it just seemed like so much effort. Making a perfume.
Oh wow. If you do that, I love the idea of you shilling your own perfume on Instagram. And speaking of you waiting for your kit, we have a thief here who has been stealing Amazon packages on and off since the shutdown occurred. But recently, he or she has been taking off with some large ticket items. And I don't know how many times Amazon is going to refund me when they can show that they delivered it by showing me that annoying picture. And I get it. There is a picture of the delivery, but I do not have the item with me. So me and Zach and our neighbors, well, I'm definitely going to do it. And whoever wants to with me, we're going to set a trap. We're not taking this to property management because they are useless. I'm not going to name them, but they're terrible. I asked the maintenance person to reprogram my garage door opener, and he reprogrammed it, but then made sure to tell me that it also, when I shut my garage, it also opens other garages. And I'm like, that is not a fix. That is questionable.
Insanely unsafe. What?
It's terrible. And he just left it with me like that. I'm like, so I just don't know. I want to set a trap. I want to like set a trap and I want to make this person never want to come again. I don't know if it's going to be something that explodes in their face. Nothing like, nothing dangerous, guys. I mean, just like powder or something. I don't know. I'm going to do something. And they're going to not want to come back.
I'm just imagining like an Amazon package, like, and there being like a cage over it, and it's just like waiting for someone to come so you can capture them. Very like Bugs Bunny style, like, got you.
So then we may get in trouble for kidnapping, but that's also an idea. I don't know if I want the person actually captured or trapped. I was thinking maybe something that would stop them from coming back, but I don't know. You might be onto something. If you guys have any ideas.
Yeah. How to catch a Amazon thief.
I
Do you
know.
guys have cameras outside your...
No. And someone said they thought that they saw them because they walked away from our building with like a big garbage bag filled with stuff, and they had a vest, and then they disappeared down the alley and took off the vest. And I was like,
and you didn't think that was
100%.
suspicious person? You just
They
saved
did,
that
but what are
story?
Yeah, they saved it, but they weren't gonna like tackle him.
Well, that's when you pull out your phone. That was probably in his hand while they're watching. Just like, you know, put a little record happening. A little suspect.
We could have done that. I'm thinking maybe, you know, like if we could just jerry rig like a thing of water to fall on him when the door opens, but then I'm like, that's gonna happen to everyone. Do we just send out a notice not to go through that door? And we think the door, anyways, I don't know. Gotta do some brainstorming.
Yeah. I mean, I'm into this plan. I want to see what's going to happen. Yeah. And I was like, but what are you going to order? So that it looks legit. I guess you could just put it in an old Amazon box. And then just set it out there.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of retape it. But I don't know. I've got to get other people on board. We might have to have a meeting.
Zach's not on board?
I don't know. Oh no, Zach's on board-ish. His response, I texted to him, he said that's kind of brilliant, but it depends how far I'm going to go as to whether or not he's entirely on board.
One of you guys has to bail the other out. Like, I get that.
I mean, he thinks it's fun, because, and he also knows we can't rely on management, so we have to take the matter into our own hands, but I don't know if he'll be on board with whatever I come up with.
I'm excited. You guys have to get married really quick so you can't testify against the other. Just in case.
Yeah, that's it, Mom, if you're listening. Yeah, we're going to get married just to do that.
Yeah.
just to protect us. Well, God.
I just think that would be so funny to be like, Dennis the Menace, this person, and it just doesn't know. Is that the movie? No, not Dennis the Menace. It's what's the one where he's like Home Alone? Home Alone.
Yes. Ooh, maybe I should watch that for inspo.
Yeah. You should make the package like have marbles in it, and then when they pick it up, the marbles will fall out, and then they'll fall out.
That's the kind of thing that I'm thinking. Because then what? And I'm going to say this person is a he based on the quote unquote sighting. And yeah, what are they going to do? File charges against us? Then you'd be like, well, why were you in there?
Yeah.
Because I guess our door doesn't always shut. Like, unless you purposefully shut the front door really, really hard, sometimes it won't stick. And someone discovered that. But I mean, we've also had 2 bikes stolen from our garage. And then, of course, you know.
Well, now that makes me wonder if somebody else's garage door opener is opening your garage.
That is what, believe me, that is the first thing I thought when the person told me, yeah, okay, so just beware. And I was like, what? I'm like, does that mean our garage has always been open? Dear God. And then he's like, it's fine. And like, just left it. And I was like, I'm not comfortable with this. What if I shut the garage door on someone? Like, what if I, because I'm not going to walk around back outside to shut the garage. That defeats the whole purpose of me getting this thing fixed. Anyways.
Interesting.
What would Bernadette do?
What would burn the whole thing down?
She'd
create a mudslide to just wipe it all out and start over.
Oh,
and then rebuild it out of the ashes of the former garage.
Wow. Very intense. Oh, that's it.
Intense. That's pretty much it. Oh, wait. Did we answer, what do we think that they're saying about femininity?
Right.
Or what are the filmmakers saying or not saying about femininity or masculinity? Yeah.
I don't know. I thought what was great about this movie is if there was a message, it was more so about an individual rather than anything having to do with their femininity or masculinity. Like, it didn't really mean anything to me that Bernadette was a woman or a mother or a wife. She was an artist. And that's what she was defined by in this to me. So in that, there's a message. It just really wasn't focused on those roles that people are not bad roles to take on, but that can take away from the individuality of a woman or a man. So that's what I thought.
Yeah. I liked that in this movie that though there was conflict between the two, Bernadette and Audrey, I think that there was conflict, but it didn't turn like adversarial and nasty, and that narrative that women just can't get along or women have to be at each other's throats. I like that at the end of the day, they pretty much united in the fact that they're both like misunderstood as mothers and as women. But, have enough grace for each other to be like, hey, maybe I am just seeing this wrong, or I was just having a bad day. And, sometimes life just gets away from you. And you're like, who the fuck am I now? Like, who is this person who is sitting, at this table when they're having that little heart to heart and they're like, kind of like saying, oh, well, you could have my life if you wanted it. And the other one's like, oh, you could have my life if you wanted it. Like, neither one of us have ended up where we thought we would be. And are making the best of the situations that we're in and, the lives that we now have. But I thought that was a nice message, that I don't see that often, of just like civility and a kind of understanding, like mother to mother, neighbor to neighbor, woman to woman. Like,
I like what you said about they both had grace, or, I don't know how you phrase it, gave each other grace or something along those lines where they really did just come together. And I forget about Audrey's character a bit, but her character was really interesting in that she was sort of placing the blame on Bernadette for whatever was going on in her life, although Bernadette was wreaking havoc. Like, that's not the only reason you're feeling that way. It's easier to focus on her. And then Bernadette was placing it on her. And, she's just obnoxious and terrible and yada yada. And they just came together. And I loved when Audrey softened to her when she just showed up and they're like sopping wet, like, I'm running for my family. I was like, yeah, and you see all those vacuums. I was like, oh yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I liked the compassion they each had.
That's a great word, compassion. Yeah. I just thought that was so nice. And I liked when Bea defended her mom to the dad. I thought that was good too. I was like, good for you. I think that Bea would be an SFL. Well, she's not top billed, I don't think, but she's gonna get it. Yeah. I would give her a tiny hat SFL as a character. I think she had all the agency in the world. She stood up for herself to Audrey, and to her dad, and she pursued her own interests, which was getting into that school, which kind of is, kind of how we find ourselves with a trip to Antarctica as her reward for good grades. And then decides she doesn't want to go. And her parents are fine with that too. And I was like, good for you, Audrey. Thank you. Or excuse me, Bea, for being, you know,
Yeah.
your own little person at like 14. Like, I don't know that I would be.
I know.
I would definitely not have had, like, to tell my parents, like, that I didn't want to do something and be firm about it. Like, I didn't have those type of choices, but then again, my parents weren't millionaires.
Yeah, she was very wise.
Yes.
And it just showed that, you know, Bernadette being the way that she was, you kind of look at her and you think, oh, she may not have a well-adjusted child, but she absolutely did.
Uh-huh.
The way that she parented Bea worked.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, maybe she didn't have the routine or structure that everyone says that, you know, kids need. I'm just guessing. Perhaps that wasn't there just based on how Bernadette operated. I think she really respected Bea, and I think that she listened to her and really tuned into Bea's experience of the world and spoke to her like a human. Yeah. That's kind of the vibe that I got, and that's why she was able to straddle being a mother and a best friend. It was great.
Yeah, I think that that's so hard to do, and I really like this portrayal of like a mother-daughter, not just as a mother-daughter, but also as like a friend relationship. Often I'm just like, I don't like this relationship. It's too much like
it's usually terrible.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this one, I also agree. I respected this relationship, because it seemed like Bea also respected Bernadette as her mother first, and as a friend, and as like a confidant second.
Yes. And I don't know how people actually end up doing that, or if that's even plausible in real life, but it played out really well here.
Yeah.
And I thought that, they were somehow able to be friends, but not girlfriend, like sharing each other's clothes and like getting jealous of each other. Because then that really creeps me out. Those mom relationships, I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this isn't going to go well. Yeah. Who is the parent here? Because it always tends to be the child is the parent, and the adult in this situation is just holding on for dear life.
And they went a little bit in that direction. I mean, her being wise and going to Antarctica to chase down her mom, but it was like all done in a universe where, again, there are no repercussions. So it ended up just fine. But I liked it. It was good.
I think it was like a sweet movie. It was sweet. So, do you have a rating for the movie? What would you give it?
I would give this movie 4 20-mile homes, or whatever that thing was called.
Nice. Oh, yeah, the 21. The one with the British pop star moved in next door, I think.
Yeah, the 20-mile radius. I liked the whole dumpster diving aspect, and I liked the whole challenge of finding things within 20 miles. Yeah, 4 20-mile.
Yeah. I think I would give it the same. I think I would give it 4 belted out, like, 80s pop songs in your car with your best friend type days. 4 of those. That was my favorite scene. I love that. That just reminded me of,
it was cute.
Yeah, my sisters and my mom, like, just, like, belting something out in the car.
Yeah. I love it.
And me most days. Just belting out songs that no one should hear.
Oh, yeah. I do the same thing. It always makes me feel better.
It does. Especially in quarantine. I'm just like singing for some reason is making me like super happy.
I know.
So try it. Try it, guys.
It does the same thing for me. I really think it's a great music. Helps us express our emotions, get them out, you know, and you don't have to figure them out. You just get to feel them. And music does that for me. Like if I'm singing, maybe I'll cry a little to it. Maybe I'll just dance. Maybe I'm being fierce. Maybe it's Miley Cyrus, or maybe it's, Green Day. Oh God.
That's awesome.
It was. They're all over the place.
All right, well, wonderful.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Well, everyone, you can find us on Instagram at Strong Female Pod,
and we are on Twitter at Twitter. We are on Twitter at SFL_Chicago. Tweet at us, follow us. I didn't tweet this one, but it's just too good. I was too into it.
She's in the moment.
I was in the moment. I was like, I haven't seen this movie in a year because it came out in 2019. It was like, that's such a long time ago. It feels like eons ago.
It was.
It was.
Oh, and I should have said this at the top, but just an honorable mention, R.I.P. RBG.
Yes.
Like SFL, historic SFL, incredible woman, incredible human, just has to be said. Even though we don't cover real people, I mean, she's a total rock star icon for so many reasons. So
yeah, 100%. It's been a long weekend, guys.
Yeah.
It's been a long weekend and a long 2020, and this is just unfortunately this
terrible.
This has also come up, but yeah, her legacy. You know, I think everyone will remember her, and it'd just be so excited for her and her legacy, and
I mean,
less excited for 2021. But
it's well, the state of our union is it's quite terrifying now. But just the amazing part, there's so many amazing things about RBG, but her manner of just making shit happen, just not wasting time in anger or wallowing, just moving on to the next thing and keeping your goal in mind, and just the manner in which she was, you know, a hero for women's rights, and how she started, you know, during the 70s, and how she made it happen through the court system. I mean, just totally brilliant. And then she dictated a message just a couple of days before her death, and she stated that she hopes that we do not fill her seat until there is a new president. And she doesn't say who she wants it or doesn't want it to be, but she's hoping that we wait. And oh God, I don't think it's gonna happen, but God, do I hope we do too, because anyways, oh my God. Okay, we could go on.
At this point, we all just have to agree that Republicans are just full of shit right now. Like, there's just no holds bar. If they attempt to hold a Senate session to fill the seat, we should all just, this is just like, you are full of shit. This whole party is like, this is probably going to get edited out, but I don't care if it doesn't. This is just the most blatant bullshit I have come across. Like, there is no arguing around this. There is no B-side. There's no other way to interpret what's happening but complete and utter bullshit.
And she fought cancer so many times, and I mean, it's not like I'm like, RBG, why couldn't you have waited? But why couldn't you have waited?
She held on so long. Yeah,
she held on so long. Like, so long.
There's just no way that any Republican with any sort of integrity would be for this moving forward. With any sort of integrity. No, I just cannot. But
the division is so strong. The division is so strong. And the justice doesn't have to be a liberal justice, quote unquote, but a justice with a massive amount of experience and an open mind, because we have seen, you know, some rulings that have gone in ways that we didn't think, with the court being as it is. So oh, come on, people, just something.
I'm not saying in any way that nominate who will be nominated. I mean, there's not a huge pool of people who would be up for the nomination anyway. I'm just saying that if in 2016 we're not allowing for the year out, almost a year out, for a Democratic president to allow a Senate hearing to appoint a Supreme Court justice. If that's the stance Republicans are taking, not 4 years ago, when it
I know
it is just the height of hypocrisy. Just the height.
Oh my God. Okay, guys. Anyways, just quick RIP RBG. I couldn't have this episode and not not just say it. All right. Well, on that note.
Yep. See you next week, guys.